So great to have you here. I think there's some exciting things that are already out there, and we'll kind of clue you in on a few things that will be coming shortly or within the next year as well. So let's start. First one I'm really excited about, and not just with what's available, but what it potentially means for the future, and that is video feedback. So let me switch over screens and show you how this works. It's obviously feedback that you give while in the grader. So we'll show you that really quick. So, okay. So if I come over here and we'll just find this video feedback assignment. And I think Bob student has one. Okay, I'll delete this. So if I come in and I could, let's say I've come in and I've marked up a couple of things. And so forth. I won't do a whole bunch of markup, but I can give Bob some text feedback, but I can also click record, give it a second, and the other camera I'm using isn't at a very good angle. So, but I'll scooch down. Hey Bob, I really liked your work, and here's some critiques, and here's some things you want to do to make it better. Go ahead and resubmit when you're done with that, and I'll take a look and regrade it. Okay, whatever. And so if I want to, I can watch the recording, make sure it looks good and everything. I can re-record if I feel like I didn't like what I said. But let's say I do like it, and so I click save. Now the feedback is there for Bob, and as long as I've put in a score, that's going to show up for him. So I can come over here to Bob. Let me get out of the dark mode because I'm not feeling like, whoops. Okay, well, that's going to take too long. So I come to the community where that is. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, Zoom sharing. Okay, so Bob comes into the class, sees that he has feedback on the video feedback assignment. And there's my video along with my text feedback. And Bob can see that in addition to my comment on his paper. So you got multiple forms of feedback, and that's hopefully going to be improving all the time. Something we're working toward is then being able to actually turn that video around and do a screen capture, so you could follow along in the text, and whether you've pre-marked it up or whatever, you could at least just walk them through whatever it is they turned in. So that's not there yet, but something that is now, since we've got this implemented, getting that is just the next step in the path, and not some future off vaporware that isn't possible, right? So we're excited about, like I said, what's possible, as well as where that leads us. So let's switch back and show you the next.
By the way, Bob is using dark mode, so students have the ability to use dark mode or classic mode or light mode on the new design. So
Right.
we'll see that coming up too. So.
Yeah, before you, this is Neil Anderson. Before you move on, show me one more time how you access the be able to leave the student a video.
Okay, yeah, you bet. Okay, so in here, now you could either go from the grades tab or click here to grade the assignment. It opens up the grader. In this case, I just selected Bob, and then under the feedback area, there is a record feedback. Well, in this case, it's re-record, but if I delete it, I can start over again from scratch.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, great. Let's switch back really quick. Okay, so next, after feedback, we have mastery exams. Okay, so what is a mastery exam? Briefly, it is an exam where students get each question and have to answer that question until they get the correct answer. And you can choose whether or not they lose points for incorrect attempts or not. But basically, they always get to the point where they get to the correct answer instead of just answering and finding out later whether they got it right or wrong. Okay, so it's just another approach, probably not so much for assessment as for facilitating the learning process, right? So let's go over here and show you how you set that up, and then we'll show you a little bit what that looks like. Okay, you are seeing my Learning Suite screen, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so if I'm starting a new assignment and I change this to exams and BYU Learning Suite, this is when you want to do that, because once you've saved the assignment, you can't go back and enable it. So you want to do it at the start, or at least my experience with it. Kirsten, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but once you've actually saved the assignment, that it disables that option. But you just come here and click under exam options. You click enable mastery testing, and then you can say whether they lose a percentage or points for every attempt. And if you want to give them one free attempt, for example, you can still get 100% if you get it in 2 tries or whatever, then you can do that. One limitation of mastery testing is it is only available for multiple choice question types. So
and that's, by the way, why we need to know right now,
yeah,
is so that it preps the exam so that it's already set up as that.
Yeah, it'll only accept multiple choice questions. Yeah. As soon as we work through the details of how it might work with other question types, then we'll go from
is
there.
it grading the multiple choice as they go, so they know whether they got it right or wrong?
Right, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So I've got one set up here, and it gives them they can take it as many times as they want. That's not always, you don't have to enable that on mastery testing, but here I just take off 1 point per attempt, and no freebie on the first attempt. So let's see what that looks like for Bob. So Bob comes here. He finds the Beatles Mastery Exam experience and begins the exam. And he says, what is the best way to not get a date?
This is part of your other. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, let me.
Just on the left, there's a toggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was part of our other class showing what happens when you copy exams questions correctly.
So, yeah, people don't like pessimists, so I'm going to guess A. And so they click that and they see, oh, get it wrong, try again. And okay, well, maybe it's not very attractive to carry pictures of Chairman Mao. Okay, boom. Anyway, you notice that this is the Beatles Mastery Exam Experience. So this is taken from the song Revolution by the Beatles, right? Okay. So, and all these are actual lyrics. They just aren't the thing that tells you you're not going to get a date. As it
By the way, you'll also notice go back or forward, so they can't skip around in
Yeah.
They have to take it one question at a
In
time.
order time.
Looks like we have a question. Sharice.
Okay. Yes.
That wasn't a question. I was just applauding the use of the song.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was the clap. That was the clap.
It's like small, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
We run out of ideas. We throw up songs, and our students
So-
have no idea what's going on.
okay, so it is actually Simelina Pilchard who is climbing the Eiffel Tower. I know my I verified all these facts before I created this test, so don't worry. Where do we and our friends? Oh, we all live in the town where I was born, right? Oh no, it's maybe in the sky of blue. No, in the sea of green. Technically, because we're in a yellow submarine, that's probably in the sea of green. But anyway, nevertheless, it took us a little while.
The points that are deducted are that points for that specific problem. Like say the problem
Right.
is worth four points, they lose a point every time they try.
Right. So they get 1 point for getting it on the last attempt.
And we'll show you what that looks like for the student on the review.
And was that Jamie asking the question, or does Jamie also have a question? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question too.
Okay,
So
please.
let's suppose that each problem is worth 1 point and the instructor accidentally said that each attempt is minus 1 point. Then in this case, for this problem, would that person get 0 points, or would they get a -3? Because
They would get 0 points. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you said, oh, I didn't mean that, you could go in, edit the exam, rescore it, and it would figure it out.
Perfect. Thank you.
But also if you do only make the questions worth 1 point, then what you want to do is probably subtract a percentage rather than points. So that's another way you can go. So that's what I didn't do percents, I did points, but I did make sure there was 1 point for each of the options. You could make it 1 point less, and then if they get it on the last attempt, like if I made this 3, then they get 0 for it if it took them 3 tries or something like that. If you wanted to, it's completely up to you, right?
But it doesn't go negative.
No, it doesn't. They'll never get a negative score on an exam. So,
It's 0.
yep, the lowest you can get is 0.
And it
If
won't transfer to other questions either. So this question, the lowest you can get is 0.
If you want to feature like negative tests, you can put that
Come and
in.
talk to us.
but generally, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Rocky Raccoon is from the Black Hills of Dakota. Yeah. And was it Eleanor Rigby? No. Was it Father McKenzie? Yeah. It wasn't all the lonely people, although maybe they'd be less lonely if they darned their socks. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. That's from Get By With a Little Help from My Friends, by the way. And so we submit, and then got 18 out of 23. We can go back and review that. You can see that that was the first attempt. This was the second attempt. They got 3 out of 4 points, and so on. Got it right on the first one, 5 out of 5. Right on the fourth attempt, 1 out of 4. Right on the first attempt, 4 out of 4. Right on the second attempt, 3 out of 4. right on the first
And
attempt.
these are
282.
because Mike enabled the review to
You
show
to
that.
show.
Like,
yeah.
if he wanted, he could have not allowed the review to show, or he could have allowed only this to show the answers they got, or not the correct answer. So, but he turned on all the options. So this is the full review. You can turn off these things if you don't want some of these things to
Things
show.
show.
And you don't have to let them review it at all if you don't want to, although that
But
comes.
And they, go ahead.
this all has to be done when you first set up the exam though, right?
Yes, yeah. But you can import, you can import the questions from, question bank or whatever. I've imported the questions from a question bank for this. And so you just have to start with a fresh shell. Because I tried just copying an exam and saying, okay, well, it's kind of like a new exam, but even a copy of an exam doesn't allow you to enable it.
Has to be set up from the beginning. Back
yeah.
end. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so there you go. Any further questions about mastery exams? Okay. Come over here. Our next feature is really okay. Yeah, that went too far. Okay, late exams. Now, I don't know about you, but if you have an exam or a quiz and student wants to take it late, you have to go in and usually give them, put in a specific exception. And I was getting a lot of that from my students. Oh, I forgot to do the assignment, because I have a lot of my assignments that are built in as exams, because I use exams to create self-assessment rubrics and things like that for the students. And this has alleviated a lot of stress in my life, because I have a lot fewer students saying, hey, can I get more time on the quiz and things like that. So as you can see here, hopefully you can see it, you can enable late submission of exams. You can decide whether or not there's going to be a penalty involved, and whether that's a flat penalty or one that increments upwards with each passage of hour, day, or week. So let me show you how that works really quick here. All right, so
We already
come
have
back.
this feature though.
What's that?
Didn't we? We already had this feature in there.
Yes, it's a feature that has been released since last year's What's New. So
okay.
we're just, yes, it's there ready for you. So like on this exam, oh wait, not that master exam, it's this one. I just came here, I allowed the late exam submission, gave it the penalty. And so you just want to make sure your end date is after your due date. And then you can decide whether, again,
Now
whether
this
it's a
does it
flat
for the entire class, not just one student, right?
right. This is for everybody. So
But it does honor exceptions. So let's say
yes,
you have a student who's allowed an extra week or an extra day to take the exam or anything like that. If you go in and give a student an exception, the exception overrides the late. So it wouldn't be
Yeah.
late for them if they've already been given an exception to take it a week after everybody
Yeah.
else.
that's a very good point. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, if this was due on September 3rd, or is due on September 3rd, and if I, add Tyler and say that Tyler can take it until September 23rd, then those first two,
That won't, yeah, just hit.
that it's the 18th. Oh, I don't need to go that far. Okay, so let me go that.
Do that because then it just won't be late for him.
Right, it won't ever be late for him until the 23rd, and then he won't be able to take it late. But let's say the 26th, then he has another additional week
Before it becomes.
before it becomes late.
Okay.
So, okay, Great. Any other questions about late exams? It's really been, it's one of my favorite things that has come out.
It also works backwards. So if you started and you had an end date and you decide, a due date for the exam, and you decide to extend that due date and extend the late exam, the late period, you can do that, and it will go back and re-give students back scores if that makes sense. If they completed it in the prior late period, but now it's not late anymore, it will go back and.
But you do have to click the rescore though, right?
I'm not sure.
Or does it auto rescore if you make those adjustments?
I'm not sure on that. That's
Okay. So we'll
are working on something similar with late assignments. The thing about late assignments is that most of them are manually scored. And so we do indicate to you that it has been turned in late, but unless it's everyone gets 100% or everyone gets full credit, we can't really auto score that yet. We're still trying to figure out how that would work.
I always try to build that into my rubric or whatever for the assignment to say, did you turn it in on time? And then I've got a easy way to lose the points. Christopher, you have a question.
Yeah, does this only work for multiple choice questions or?
No, it's for any exam.
Any exam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The only thing that's only for multiple choice was the mastery. Yep. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple more chats.
It can be an exam that's in the testing center on Chromebooks, delivered in testing center. It can be one that's proctored, like it's independent of all of those other things. So.
Okay. So after late exams, we've got the student ratings assignment,
which also has been around for a while, but we just wanted to tell you about it.
Yeah, because it's still fairly new relative to a lot of other features in Learning Suite. So let's go to new screen here really quick. Okay, so I think it's down here. Now, this student ratings assignment can be, in this case, I put it in my course as an extra credit assignment, but you can make it for credit. You can make it not count toward the grade, but just have it there as a reminder to students, whatever you want to do. To make it just a reminder is you can exclude it from the final grade. If you make it an extra credit assignment, just select that. In this case, it's in an extra credit category, so it's locked down and I can't unmake it extra credit unless I move it out of the category. And everything, but all I do is I select survey. Let's do a new one just so you can see. New assignment. All I do is select survey.
And that's because we're going to be adding mid-course and simple survey to this, hopefully over the year.
Yeah. Excuse me, give it a title and description if you like. Put it in a category. So here I'll put it in extra credit, which will, once it's saved, will make it automatically extra credit, but I'll just go ahead and click that. Give it 1 point or give it 10 points or whatever you want to do. The date is already set. Now, the nice thing about this is that if you say, oh, I forgot to create that assignment, well, then it's not going to encourage your students to complete it. But at least if you want to pull in the scores of who actually did it, you can still do it and it'll retroactively pull those scores in so that if you go, dang, I forgot to do that, you can still pull that in without having to go to student ratings and go to manage my ratings and find out who actually did it and then make sure that you've connected all the dots and given everybody credit and all that kind of stuff. So, so that's kind of how that works.
Nice for students because on their side, it will show up as a regular assignment in all of their calendars. When they click on it, there'll be a link there that takes them straight to student ratings. So it's really a quick way for them to do it if they ignore one of the 5 emails that we send out.
Right. So it is a way to increase your percentage of students completing ratings, which is usually a very good thing. Okay, so our next, we have a wonderful little feature called group scored assignments. So let's come back here, show you how that works. Okay, so to do this, I create a new assignment, and it can be whatever. It's usually beneficial to have it be a online submittable assignment, but it doesn't have to be. But it does have to be just a regular assignment type, and I do my usual stuff. But the trick to it is you just come to scoring, and you select this group scoring, and then it's going to ask you to edit participants. So you can either click here or come up to this new tab, participants, and select groups that you've already created. So if I see that, I can see which students are in that group and which students are in that group. And if I need a new group because some students aren't included or whatever, then I can create a new group. But in this case, I've got all my students accounted for, and save that. Oh,
Yeah, you didn't give it any.
yeah, I didn't. I'm not going to actually save it. So anyway, because I already have one set up for demonstration purposes, but I wanted to show you how to set it up. So of course, you'd fill out the other aspects of the assignment. So if I go here and click here, I can see, let's go to group 1. And oh, they haven't submitted yet. There we go, group 1. So I can come in here, I can make comments. Great.
So you're scoring all of their group at the same time because it's a group assignment?
Yes.
And on the student side, while he's doing this, on the student side, they see the group that they're in, and they see the submission that someone in their group has submitted. So everyone in that group has access to the submission or submissions in case you allow multiple file uploads. And everybody in the group has the ability to upload or download whatever was uploaded for the group. And it's listed over here on the left, the submission. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can see right now I've just cleared out the scores just by clearing out the scores up here in the group score. So I'll go ahead and collapse these, or I'll leave Bob open. So if I put in the 4, you'll see that as soon as I'm done, it fills in for Bob's score. Give them an 8. So they got a 16 out of 18, and all of the students receive that same score. But because I have them here, I can change that. Now, this is an example with a rubric, but you can also do, I'll come here and say,
You could have just flipped it from inside.
Yeah, I know, but it's too late now. So here I have, see, group 1 submitted something, and let's say 17, and then that filters down. And then in the feedback, this is regardless of whether your rubric or not, you can come here, you can give feedback for the group, hello group, and then I can come here for each individual and say Bob, hey Bob, and I can even give Bob a.
And it shows you, does it show you on the document which person submitted what part?
Well, one person submits a document, and that's the thing. So save that. So yeah, so if they're doing it like that, where they're breaking up in parts, you can have them identify in the document their individual work, but it doesn't magically know who did what or anything. Good question though. It's good to clarify that. So Jane asks, how does the group assignment differ from digital dialogue? Digital dialogue, of course, is a discussion board so that, you know, everybody can kind of comment. And so like if you wanted to see individual contributions to a discussion or to a work, you could use a digital dialogue and then score it. It would bring up the group and you could score each individual in the group, but you'd still have to kind
Manually,
of work through each student
it's just automatically grades
medically.
the whole group.
Because we're considering one group submission, grade it, give that grade to everybody.
But you can also go
So-
back, let's say Bob didn't contribute as much as the other students. You could go back when he did the 17, he could change Bob's grade to be a 16,
Yeah.
for instance. And
Or
tell Bob,
I know he did most of the work and I'll give
right,
him
so
an
you give
18
him
or something.
18 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that goes into the grade book. And if I come over here and I'm Bob, then I can see the group scoring demo. Oh, wait, I got to refresh. Oh, I did. Yeah, I gave him a score. Okay. There. Okay. So then there's there's the video feedback, the text feedback for Bob, and then the group feedback that I left. And if I would have marked anything up, that would have been here. And you see the score, you got the 18 out of 18. And so anyway, any questions about that? So they see it that way. Let me see what happened to my group scoring with the rubric. Oops, that's not it. Yeah. Bob got it.
Oh,
Okay.
it doesn't have a final
That
score.
final score for him. So that's weird. Maybe,
I think you erased it and then maybe it just never.
yeah.
Oh, it's because we got a duplicate score ID. Sorry, there's an error. If you ever see that, call us. It's because out of billions of combinations of IDs, sometimes we get duplicates. There's a question.
Yes. Christopher.
Let me take that.
Okay.
Okay.
So with the feedback, this is a more general feedback question. I see you use the annotation feature,
Mhm.
which is really cumbersome. I mean, it's not very helpful at all when you're grading long papers. And so I always download the papers, mark them up as a PDF, and then upload them. So when the students go in to look at their feedback, they don't see what I've uploaded. They have to like click a few extra buttons, right? It doesn't just show.
Yeah, they have to download the document. Yeah. So that's a good thing to be able to like load the feedback in the document viewer. That's a good.
Making a note.
Thanks.
The other thing we are currently in the process of doing is trying to find a better plugin to do the document annotation.
Right now,
And so-
we try to find low cost or free. So that's.
But we
whoever
are,
developed, that'd be great.
yeah, we've already started a search though for improved options. So thank you for that feedback. And I think the idea of having an uploaded document, if it's able to be loaded in the document viewer, is a great suggestion. So I'm glad Kirsten got it down, and thank you for sharing that, Christopher, because you'll make the world a better place for everybody. Okay. Maybe that's a little hyperbole, but still it's better. Okay, so that's group scored assignments. Any last questions before I move on? Okay. Override and replace scores. So let's say, for example, I guess I should switch views before I get into the detailed explanation. come over here to grades, and let's say, okay, so let's say everybody, okay, let's say everybody got only 50% on this first assignment. And okay, and I said, well, if you do better on week 11, check-in 4, I will replace those scores with whatever you get that day, or 90% of whatever you get that day. And let's say this person only got 89 on that one. So they have kind of a low score. So I find the score that I'm going to use as the replacement score, and I click on the options, and I click adjust scores. And under adjust scores, there's an option called replace scores. And so I can choose like a series of assignments that can be replaced. Like let's say I said, you know, we have 3 midterms and a final, and I will replace your lowest final with whatever you get on the final exam. Lowest midterm grade, midterm exam score. So I could select all the midterms here. And if I choose this option, replace the lowest score of the selected assignments, it's going to look across all 3 of those assignments person by person and say, which one's the lowest one? Is it lower than what they got on the assignment that I'm using to replace the scores? And if that's the case, then we make the substitution. If not, then we leave everything the same, right? On replace all scores, let's say if you could do better on the final, you will get that score for your midterms. Then any midterm that was lower than the final exam grade would be replaced if I select this option. This case, we're just going to do a 1-to-1 replacement, so it makes it a little bit easier to see. And I think we're doing.
You can filter by if it's like a exam or something.
Yeah. The problem is it takes a little while to check it off. So let me just make sure I know what this assignment's called. It is week 10. Okay, so come back here, edit the assignment. No, edit the assignment. I want to replace just scores, replace scores. I'm going to use this one. We're going to do metacognitive week 10. And we're going to do a full 100% replacement, but I could change that to, well, you get 95% of your score from the week 11 assignment. Yes, that's a good question. I will answer your question, Jill, in just a second. But now we can see that Michael's score didn't replace because 50% was higher than the 44%, right? But everybody else got that higher score that they received on the other assignment. Jill asks, is there a way for the student's picture to be visible when grading their assignment? And yes, so let's say I go in to, let's pick one of these. Let's not do a group one, because I don't know if it doesn't work on groups. But if I show student photo, unfortunately, Bob doesn't have a photo. But Tyler's a real person, but he's not a real student. But I can see his picture as I'm grading. He just didn't submit for this assignment. But yep, just clicking this show student photo, you're golden. All right. All right. Any other questions about overriding replacing scores? Okay, our next feature is unpublishing exams. Woohoo. Okay, so you can kind of see it here. You go to the exam list, and if the exam has been published but has not been taken by students, you can simply unpublish it. So let's go over here. Switch over to new share. And when I publish this, I can unpublish it if I so desire. Publish and unpublish at will. I wouldn't abuse it, but certainly if you need to unpublish an exam for any reason, if students haven't taken it, they can. You can see these ones that say published, but it's not a button. That means a student has already taken the exam or at least started the exam. And so those ones can't be unpublished.
And one thing to note with unpublishing exams is that there are a couple things to note. First of all, you can edit the exam even if it's published. So even if you publish your final and you don't have any questions on it, but it's published, it shows up on student calendars and student schedules, so they know it's coming up. They, of course, can't get into it because it's not open yet, but then you can add questions at any point. In fact, you can edit questions while students are taking the exam, although we highly discourage that because then people get different exams, but you can edit them all the way up until students start taking them. So there's no fear of, I can't edit it until it's published. The other thing is like I said, they don't show on the student calendar. And so they can be really confused. Students can get very confused when the final exam doesn't show up on their schedule, because it also doesn't show up for how much points it's worth or when it's scheduled. And so it can just be disconcerting to just have that suddenly show up on their schedule. I had some students once that complained that they had a weekly quiz and it was stressful because Learning Suite would only let it show right before the exam. Which, by the way, is an option. You can hide, if you publish it, it's all ready to go, you can actually hide it until you want it to show up. So like if you want to do a pop quiz in class, you can schedule that. You don't have to put the published, unpublished. But anyways, it turned out that the instructor was just publishing them right before the day or so before they took the exam. But you can actually set those up generic, blank, or whatever for the whole semester, and then edit them as you want. And students really like the fact that then it shows up on their calendar, even though they can't get into it. It also does affect the points are calculated in their total. So at the end of the class, when you're doing final grades, if you have unpublished exams or assignments that you've not graded, you just need to take those out of the final grade and that will fix the calculations. But you can call Mike or I if you have questions on that.
Yep. All righty. Let's move on to the next.
Unless there's questions.
I haven't seen anything in the chat, so I'm guessing this is a pretty straightforward one. You can publish and unpublish. Just know that if you are trying to do like a pop quiz or something like that, it's probably easier or more beneficial to use the hide until rather than publishing and unpublishing them. We have coming features, which is a responsive design. And let's just tell you a little bit about some of the features that will be coming along with that. The use of Learning Suite for instructors will be much more mobile friendly, allowing grading and all kinds of things that are a little more difficult to do on your phone or your tablet. That will be improved. Other UX enhancements just to make using it just a little bit more improved workflow on a lot of things. We've got in the background improvements in file handling, improved group creation. Right now you can only create one group at a time, but when this comes out, hopefully sometime during this next school year, there will be a way to create multiple groups at once, as well as automating that group creation process so you can randomize it in the system, or you can adjust, do it manually, or get a random group and then move ones around that you want to move. This feature will allow us also to do group emails, whereas now you can do group messages, but emails aren't associated with groups. So let's just look at some of that really quick, because we want to
And Michael
end on
showed
time.
you how to opt into the beta. If you'd like to opt into it, as we release pages through the semester, they will just show up for your life.
Yeah. To get into that, you come to the preferences, which is this little icon over here, the little gear box. Come over to beta, and then you can opt in and click save. And then you'll get the new, you can always opt out if you want to, but if you go to course home, you can see that I've got the new thing. Let's see, whoops. Back to instructor view.
No, you want to,
Yeah, I'm trying to get to preferences to turn off dark mode. So we have different modes. I like classic mode, but we'll show you light mode really quick. So this is the one page that is actually already pushed live, but you'll see other pages like, no, that's not it.
This would be assignments.
Yeah, assignments. Let me go to the assignments page.
So you're going to our class.
Okay. And assignments. Woo.
Are you opted in? You
Yeah.
might not be opted in on the Ellis test too.
Well, I was, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I am.
Oh.
So it might be,
Go to Ellis test 1. He might have moved it off. I think we moved code. I think
let me,
it's
so here's one where it's the content pages is done on this one, and I'll get a LS test 1, see in a minute, but you can kind of see it's got that different look. You can edit, and it's got a new interface, larger editing area for your.
and we're working on
pages.
additional tools in the toolbar. So
Yeah. So an improved tools for rich text editing is also coming. And then let me see if open a new tab and let's try LS test 1. Probably tell me that there's no course for that. There we go. There's the assignments. So assignments page, and you create a new assignment, and instead of top bars, we have just expand it. That one's not done yet, but
process.
yeah. So you can create this and then get a little bit easier around the different options, and so that's going to be pretty exciting stuff. So that's kind of a sneak peek of some of the things of how it'll look. And like I said, in addition to that, you have preferences. You can, I like the classic mode. It has the same colors as, or basically the same colors as the original Learning Suite. And so I have an affinity for it. But anyway, there we go. So let's just wrap up here because we are coming to an end. We've already seen dark mode, so we won't show you that again. Oh, student combined schedule. Why did it close my presentation? So, and the student combined schedule. We did want to show you that. So we'll go new share really quick. This is available to students now, but if they come out of a course, they have a combined schedule, and August isn't very busy for Bob, but if you go to September, you can see they've got lots of assignments on their schedule, and they can select which classes they want to see. A lot of these are
Testing, yeah.
just test courses and stuff. But anyway, and then right from there, they can submit assignments, they can launch exams and all that kind of fun stuff, or go directly to a digital dialogue.
Or to a third party, if you integrated a third party system like Gradescope or SmartWorks, it would take them again.
React or whatever, yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Turn it in.
So that is what's new in Learning Suite, and we even finished before the top of the hour. Questions or suggestions? We've got a couple of minutes before we need to get off and get ready for the next session that's coming up in 8 minutes, where we talk about understanding and improving the student experience. So
I have a question.
yes, please.
So I teach in the College of Nursing, and I'm a lab instructor. So I come from the professional side of things and kind of just do one course.
Yes.
But with the schedules, can we, from the teacher side, combine in their other courses? Do we have to have access to those courses to get those schedules, or can we just have access to schedules so that we can kind of see what else they're doing at the same time that we're teaching certain things, if that makes sense?
Yeah, currently we don't have that feature. Kirsten, I can tell you about somebody that does something like that.
Interesting. You could have the students kind of print out there. This comes in a week and a list view as well, like on the they could change. So they could maybe send it out. I don't know. We'd probably have to get FERPA approval on that. So we'll have to, but it's an interesting idea to be able to see what other items other classes are doing.
Well, I just think it would be helpful. I know that by the time you get to the senior year, it's pretty much all nursing courses. And so we might as well have it combined so that you can kind of see, oh, this way we can correlate. So there's only one test per week or whatever for the students, you know?
Yeah, because the students can see it, but the instructors can't. That's an interesting thought. I'll write that down. Looks like Jamie's question.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm new, so I've never used Learning Suite before, but one question I had is whether it allows you to create algorithmic questions. So like questions where you can put in a formula and then say the numbers vary between this and this. So each student does the same formula, but it gives them different questions because they each have different numbers.
Yes, we do have that feature. And so
called a calculated question type.
Calculated question type. Perfect.
But what we could do is you could send, I'll put Mike and my emails in the thing, send us an email and we can kind of walk you through that. And it's also, you can always go to softwaresupport.byu.edu. It's in a link at the bottom of the page. All these pages, it says LS help. And you can kind of look there too and get the online help, but let me do this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
MC, are you MC _ Johnson, right?
Yep.
It always autofills. Send us an email, and anybody else can also send us emails if you have questions on how to do things, or if you would like a show on the road. You know, if you have a group of faculty, Mike and I are always happy to go and talk with anybody about any questions they have. It one-on-one, groups of people, groups of TAs. The more you know how to use Learning Suite, the better.
In fact, in fact, next week I've got like the all the Spanish student instructors. Right. I'm going over to the JFB or JFSB and giving them this very presentation that we just went through. So we're happy to take it on the road
or we can talk about any topic, like if you have a group of people who want to know how to work the calculated questions, or you want to understand about question blocks in exams or scoring or any of that.
Yep. All righty. Well, okay.
Chris
Before
was
master.
asking what came before master exam. So we did video feedback in the grader.
Yep.
And I think you caught the end of that.
Yeah. So yeah, before
feedback.
mastery was just video feedback,
Feedback.
and I can probably show where.
Yeah, and you just get to that by when you're in the grader and you click on the feedback area, you kind of see that there on the left. Instead of typing in text or uploading a file, you can now add video as well.
Yep. So I just come to the
And is
assignments.
this presentation saved then, so we could, in case we forget, which we will do?
Yeah, this is going to be the video of this presentation will be on teachanywhere.byu.edu.
Or one of them. We're doing 3 or 4 of them. So whichever one turns out to be.
Yeah, so far this has been,
Probably the
I think,
better
the best. So this will probably be the one recording that gets saved. So let's see. Yeah, just share that really quick. So you can see that. Oh, how'd I get in there?
Oh yeah, that's your real class.
Yeah. So come here.
I keep thinking we need to like put bars across the color it like we do beta, so we know when we're testing when we're.
Yeah. Anyway, so if I go to assignments and go to score this one already has at least one student with video feedback. But you just come to, if I come to Jane, and even if she hasn't submitted, I could record some video feedback for, say, oops, hey, Jane. Oh, we're having, there we go. Hey, Jane, turn in your assignment, please. Thank you. I have to make sure it lasts at least 10 seconds. So, okay, and save. And now
And you can give, you have to give her a
I
score.
have to get a point. So give her a 0 because she hasn't turned it in. She'll see the feedback, hopefully get it submitted. All right. So, all right, we got to get to the next session. So we'll go ahead and stop there. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate your great questions and contributions. And we'll see you hopefully in the next meeting, if not some other time.